I'm back. Sup dogs, TheOdie here. Hope you guys had a wonderful January. Mine was actually quite the roller coaster, but I'll save all that towards the later half of this video. But if you didn't know, I usually take January off from uploading anything, period, to more so just to relax, but also to plan ahead for the rest of the year and do my best to get ahead if possible. But hey, a pretty big thing has happened in January. MatPat has announced his retirement, and I imagine some of you guys who happen to be following this TheOdie channel may be wondering, I wonder if that dude's gonna retire. Well, what if I were to tell you that I've already retired? Sort of, but not really. My channel is actually pretty old. August 27th, 2013 was when I created it, and my first upload, September 1st, 2013. Like, I know, my channel's not really all that popular, so it's kind of hard to believe that I'm considered as a full-time YouTuber. But yeah, there was a time when I did do it full-time. I used to upload 3 to 4 times a week, and I would always do Let's Plays. Well, I've been doing Let's Plays up until the fall of 2020, where I kind of decided, you know what, I'm not really doing too hot in these Let's Plays. They're starting to weigh me down physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm not exactly sure if I want to continue doing YouTube. So I decided that as a last hurrah, I will go back to my roots and create, or remake in this case, a horror game, Caster's Trap. Fast forward to today, and as it so happens, I think I can still do YouTube. Ironically enough, the channel has actually done better. But for the most part, it was also kind of like a test period to see if I could still do YouTube and still have a life. What I mean to say is that I'm not exactly young anymore. I just turned 31 on the 31st of January. I'm practically within the same age range as all the other YouTubers who has retired. But yeah, I'm already retired. Crazy, huh? Oh my god. I guess it's technically not retired since I'm still doing YouTube, but it's kind of like at my own pace as opposed to trying to fight for that algorithm and trying to upload consistently. As a matter of fact, I kind of have borrowed the term hobbyist and stuck it on several of my videos. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe if I'm not retired, I'm a hobbyist YouTuber and also a hobbyist game dev. Which does not sound like I'm taking any more breaks than I did in the first place. But believe it or not, it's actually working out where I feel like I am taking some breaks. So with all that said, that kind of makes you wonder, well, what's going to go on with the TheOdie channel? And it so happens I'm still very much enjoying game dev. RPG Maker is still something I am very much in love with, although there are many times where I hate it. Ironically enough, I still very much love it. Anyway, as I was working on Caster's Trap and being this hobbyist YouTuber, there was one thing that really stood out to me that I really did not like, and it was just being very inconsistent with how I uploaded. Like, I still remember having several comments where you guys would say, "Hey TheOdie, glad to see you uploading again," or "Hey TheOdie, glad to see you're doing good." And it actually made me stop to think that, wow, you guys actually think that something's going on in my life. I never realized that I probably make some of you guys feel concerned about it, and that's absolutely not what I want any of you guys to feel. So I wanted to take a step back and figure out how it is I want to do YouTube that's both more comfortable for me, but also more comfortable for you guys. And as such, I like to introduce to you series. So each series will consist from 3 to 6 videos with an average of 4 videos. And yeah, they're expected to release week after week or 2 weeks apart. But I feel like that way, things will feel more consistent and more enjoyable. So an example of a series that already exists on the channel today is RPG Maker AI. All these videos are all related to each other, and they actually do pretty well at being a standalone series. So I want to start doing that more. And one series that I'm currently working on actually has to do with this one. So I hope you're excited to see how I follow up on that. Now, there is a bit of a downside to this, and it's the fact that all of these videos, especially if I'm making a game, it takes time to make. It can take up to 2 to 4 months to create a game. But you know how things are with me. I thought Cash's Trap would only take 6 months. But no, I have a stronger restraint on myself this time. Things will go good. I promise. Things will be more consistent. Alright, so those were pretty much all the major updates that I wanted to give to you guys. For the rest of the video, I'm just gonna chillax and talk about my January. So, I'll be ready to just be more chill. So first of all, how was your guys' January? Love to hear you guys chime off in the comments down below. And as for mine, well, we're actually gonna start in December, because I went on a cabin trip with a bunch of friends and didn't exactly vlog it, but more so just recorded parts of it so I can mash together in a clip that's actually releasing next week. So I hope you guys do check it out and do enjoy. I actually recorded like 90% of it on my Insta360, which if you don't know, it's this lad. Look, it has 2 lenses, so it could capture every moment. And 2 things. First of all, the Insta360, it sucks in low lighting. Second thing is that the software has to stitch together the 2 lenses where they connect, and for whatever reason, the software would not stitch them together, so you're gonna get this very ugly line. And I tried my best. I tried so hard to fix it, but it wouldn't, and I'm sorry, and I hope you guys are still able to enjoy it. If anything, I will admit it is more for me and my friends to look back fondly, but I think it's still enjoyable, or I've edited it in a way that won't make you guys feel too like left out, if that makes sense in any way. Anyway, that was pretty much the start of my January, because we came back on January 2nd or January 1st. I don't remember the exact date, but we all caught, or half of us got COVID. There was a patient 0 at the cabin trip. So I caught COVID. In all fairness, they did not feel symptomatic at all until like day 2. So we don't actually blame them. It could have been any of us. I could have even been patient 0 and I wouldn't have known. But yeah, I caught COVID, so I was out of commission for a solid 10 days to 2 weeks. 10 to 14 days. And during that time, towards the recovery end, I started working more on that game I mentioned that's going to be turned into MZ3D. And if you made it this far, here's the title. Captive, you are my idol. I'm excited to get that game out to you guys. It's going to be very fun. I hope. I pray. And yes, it will be on Steam. More info on that later. But besides that, I spent a lot of time watching anime. I've rewatched the first 2 seasons of Log Horizon, and then I finished up the 3rd season, which I have not seen yet until then. And if you haven't watched Log Horizon, it's an isekai anime where the main characters gets transported into a video game and they're trying to figure out their way out. It's more political, and it's also very wholesome. What's more neat about this one is that if you ever played World of Warcraft or pretty much any MMORPGs where there's like raiding involved, then I think you'll really enjoy this anime. The main character is a strategist, so it's kind of neat to see that perspective as opposed to always the super OP one. So after I finished that anime, I started working on the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and it is a slice of life anime with a bit of the supernatural kind of like stapled next to it, because there's an alien, there's a time traveler, and there's an Esper. And I'll kind of just leave it at that. I don't want to spoil too much about it, because I feel like there is a turning point in the anime that technically does happen at around episode 3 or 4, so pretty early on, but I kind of like jumping into it blindly. It's a pretty cool twist, I think. Alright, I'll sit up now. And other than that, one more bit of excitement. I went to California for the Bandai TCG Finals event. And boy oh boy, did it not go the way I expected it to go. So for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty large in One Piece, the trading card game. I will show you my binders with all the shinies, but they're with my friends right now for, of course, transporting there and back. Long story short, and not to get too technical for those who aren't interested, in order to participate in the main finals event, you had to register on the app. The app had a lot of technical difficulties that it came down to luck for you to apply and get into the main event. I unfortunately did not make it. 2 of my friends did make it, and my expectations were that there were going to be a lot of side events for me to enjoy, because when I went to Florida for a regionals event, not the finals event, a regionals event, which helps you qualify for the finals, which by the way is another separate thing, but yeah, that gets too technical. Anyway, at the regionals event, there were a lot of side events for those who did not get into the main event to enjoy. So, I expected those sort of things. A lot of other TCG players who play One Piece and any other Bandai game expected the same thing. And it was not that at all. So I went to this event thinking I'll be playing from like 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. I didn't play a single game at all. Instead, all I did was stand in line to get stamps so I can exchange those stamps for this thing, which by the way is not worth a much. Anyway, the event took over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was a nightmare. Way too many people, way too many lines, absolutely no fun at all. Day 2 was a lot more fun because it was half the amount of people decided to come back to enjoy. And lines were actually short enough where instead of waiting for 2 hours to get one stamp, I only waited for 10 minutes to get one stamp. That aside, for the main event, there was a lot of technical difficulties to get matches started. There were about 1,900 people who participated in the One Piece main event. And as for my friends, unfortunately, they did not make top cut, or they did not make... The cut starts at 512 and they didn't make it, basically. Makes them sound lame, but here's how crazy it is. To reach top 512, you need to win 7 out of 10 games, meaning you can only lose 3 times. But here's the even crazier part. They went to the event at 7:30 in the morning so that they can start at 9:30. But because of the technical difficulties, they had to float around until 12 p.m. so that they can finish at midnight. If you never played a TCG event, then that is absolutely horrendous. Anyway, day 2 was super fun, not only because there were fewer people, but also there were a lot of stage events. There were performances by the singers for the opening and ending of the anime, One Piece, and other animes that was part of this card game, or under Bandai. And there was a very, very well done shoutcast of the final match for each of the card games that was hosted there. So it was day 2 was honestly a huge blast. Day 1 sucked. Day 2 if you are interested in seeing more of that stuff, then you can actually check it out on my personal Instagram as opposed to my TheOdie games only Instagram. Which, by the way, if you're interested in following and seeing more of Captive, you are my idol, then at TheOdie Games, or just me chilling at I am TheOdie. And that's pretty much my January. Here I am. Oh yeah, I turned 31 on the 31st. Nothing happened there. I went to work, came home, ate Chinese food. Alright, well, I'm glad to be back, and I probably won't upload sometime in March, where Captive will have been completed and I can push it out to you guys. Hope you're excited and enjoy my little cabin vloggy trip coming out next week. Alright, till then, later. I'm not doing that right. Later. This happens every time I come back.